What's up everyone, so today I'm going to show y'all how y'all can connect to out-of-region servers on MW2 or any other game. Matter of fact, since this method requires no VPN and works on any other game since this stack is not MW2 specific. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into it. So first thing you're going to do is you got to know which region you're connecting to and which region you're on. So in my case, I live in Portugal, so I play on European servers. I can prove that really quick if I go over to this website. What's my IP address? A little misspell there, but there's no problem. I go over to this website and as you can see, my country is Portugal, in fact. So if I try to matchmake into a match really quick, we're looking for a match under 26 milliseconds of latency. So we found the match. As you can see, latency 41 milliseconds, so we're most likely in the EU server. If I go into check lobby, hopefully I'm able to see some country flags. It's usually a good indicator where we are. Yeah, a Dutch flag, a Turkish flag, another Dutch flag, Norway flag. So we're most likely in the EU lobby. So what I'd have to do if I wanted to connect, for example, to a US lobby. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is use SSB, or a simple server blocker. This tool has been a personal project of mine for the past couple of days. You can check it out on this GitHub page. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. It's a free and open source program. You can download it right here in the releases page. If I go over to the releases page, here it is, ssb.txt, or if you prefer, you can just download the source code and compile it yourself. So what this program does, it basically generates firewall rules for Windows Firewall to block server connections between your machine and the target servers using a server list. In this case, I'm going to be using Activision's MW2 Server List to the current date, which is May 13th, which I'm also going to leave this file in the description. So if you select this dataset, mw2.json, you're going to see a bunch of servers listed here: Google servers, other servers, Vultr servers, and relay servers. So let's say I wanted to connect to US servers. What I would have to do is go over to these providers and, for example, select US Google servers, US other servers, and US Vultr servers. Relay servers are only for EU servers. So we would select these servers, and what this basically is doing is whitelisting all the US servers and blocking connections to all the other servers that are not selected. So if I select these servers, it's going to generate 6 firewall rules. It doesn't matter how many rules it just generates rules to block connections to all these other servers. And if I open the game right now, okay, so now that we're in the game, we're going to look for a match really quick. We're going to start matchmaking, as we can see, under 117 millisecond ping. So we found a match, as you can see, 128 ping. So if we check lobby really quick, yeah, as you can see, we have a bunch of US flags, a Canadian flag. Yeah, this is definitely a US lobby. So now what if I wanted to connect to a EU lobby again? What I would have to do is quit the game. Open SSB again. Load up the dataset again. As you can see, we still have 6 server rules active. We can clean up the previous rules. As you can see, the rules have been deactivated. We go over to Google, for example. If I want to play on only EU Google servers, I select EU Google and I activate the relay servers, which are required for EU players. Now we have 8 server rules active, as we can see, and if I try to open the game again, Okay, we are in the game again. Let's try to connect into a match and see how much ping we got. Okay, so we are searching again under 45 millisecond ping, so which means it's looking up at EU servers. It's gonna take longer since we're only looking up for Google servers. Okay, we found a match again. 42 latency, 43 around that. So if we check lobby again, we are definitely in Europe. Norway flags, Sweden flags, Polish flags. Yeah, so yeah, we're back in Europe. So as I'm editing this video, I forgot to mention that when you are applying these rules to the firewall, you're applying them system-wide, not to a specific application. So let's say you wanted to play MW3 now, and you wanted to play on EU lobbies. You'd have to unblock these rules and clean up the server rules and open up MW3, but now you wanted to play MW2 again, so you'd have to open the program again. You don't need to do all this. You can just use this button right here, select an executable. What this does, it applies the rules application-wide. So let's say I want to apply it only to MW2, I would have to go into the MW2 executable, which is on my Steam folder, MW2, and I select cod22-cod, and then I apply these rules. These rules are now only applied for the cod executable, so if I wanted to play MW3, these rules would have no effect on it. Also, I'd like to remind you that this method is not future-proof, since Activision might make changes to their servers, like migrate servers or buy new servers or whatever, which would make this server list render useless, since it's basically just a list of hard-coded IP addresses. Okay, so a quick recap. This is not a cheating tool, this is not a SBMM manipulation tool, this is just a program that allows you to block server connections from your local machine to any other server, regardless of you using a VPN or not. This method is not specific for MW2 only, as you can also use it on any other game or apps. Okay, so now that you know how to block servers in order to play out-of-region servers using SSP, let me know if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Don't forget to drop a like and share to hack the algorithm, and have a great rest of your day.